Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome to the first preview video for the upcoming Troy DLC, Ajax and Diomedes. And here we have a pre-release build of the game, and we're going to be showcasing these two factions today. And the first faction that we will talk about will be Ajax, and he is the warlord of Salamis. And if we pop into here, we can see his faction design. So there's going to be two brand new mechanics added into each of these factions that are now joining the game in this DLC, and they're exactly two factions as we mentioned, and as in the name of the DLC, Ajax and Diomedes.
Goddess of War,
we'll be doing a separate showcase of the early game gameplay as well as a main faction preview, and that's the purpose of the videos today. There will be more preview videos to follow, covering different aspects of these two factions, as well as changes to the DLC that will come as part of the patch for all players, including some of the new battle maps, as well as some of the new units being added into the game. So, to get things started with Ajax, what we have in terms of gameplay mechanic is the Path to Greatness and the Warrior of Renown. Path of Greatness is where you have to prove your might to the world by challenging great warriors. Now these great warriors will eventually become leaders of Paragon units for your faction, and you can convince them to join you by defeating them in challenges. Now these challenges will be an actual battle, except whatever casualty you suffer in the battle will not count. So it's kind of a mock battle where you have to beat set armies located throughout the world, and once you beat them, the leader of that army will become the leader of one of your new units. And the units, in terms of new Paragon units, it's basically an upgraded version of a base unit. So for example, if you have a base spearman, you can now have a Paragon spearman that is led by one of these challengers that you have defeated. And Paragon units is something new to this DLC and is exclusive to Ajax and Diomedes. So for Ajax here, you gain these units by defeating challengers on the map. The second mechanic he has is called Warrior of Renown. Not only do you get new commanders for your units when you beat them, you also get renown points, which is your faction currency. And when you gather these renown, you gain bonuses, diplomatic bonuses with your fellow Achaean factions. Basically, they will like you more and give you more favorable deals by gaining extra diplomatic deal points in any non-barding type of deals. So by barding deals, it means trading resources. Those you will not be getting a benefit, or else you can just get free resources from the game. But any type of deals like non-aggression pacts, peace deals, confederation, all those would give you net positive points by having high renown. And aside from that, you can spend your renown points to call funeral games with different factions on the map. You can invite them as guests, put out a few ancillary items as prizes of these funeral games, and you can gain diplomatic ties with them or convince factions to peace with each other or with you. So there's an extra layer of diplomatic gameplay with Ajax. He's the big brother of all the Greek factions, so he can ask you guys to peace out with each other or peace out with him. He's there to protect all these factions as well, because one of the best ways for him to gain renown is whenever one of his Danaan faction allies are defeated in a battle, it is recorded and given to you, telling you that this faction have beat up your friend. So go beat up this faction for revenge. And once you do that, you'll gain extra renown points. So that's one of the main mechanics for Ajax to gain renown beyond issuing those challenges to those champions that you want to become your leaders of your Paragon units. So that's kind of the two mechanics at play for Ajax. And in terms of himself, his recommended playstyle is that his roster relies on slow but very powerfully equipped defensive infantry to hold the line, while his powerful missile units take advantage of protected positions. So it's much similar to how I usually play the game, where you have a strong defensive line of shielded spearmen to hold off against enemy range units and enemy cavalry or units that's infantry in this game mainly that's charging towards you. And at the same time, you have a strong range component dealing damage. And it's even better for Ajax because his range units have a very special trait, which we'll talk about once we go into game, where they will never have friendly fire damage. So even if you charge up your melee line into the enemy, your archers or slingers range units in the back will never damage your own units when firing into that melee line where your units are fighting the enemy. And that's a huge advantage in this type of game. In terms of hero classes, you cannot recruit mentors, but skirmishers, defenders, and fighters are all available to you. Every faction has one type that's not available. You obviously would be an epic defender, just by the look you can kind of tell. And here are some of the unique units you have. So this is a Locaean Slinger, this is one of your premium Slinger units, and you can see here one of the trait is called Expert Accuracy. And that trait is where you cannot fire and deal friendly damage. The range on these are awesome, 190, very far, good missile damage as well. And then some of the frontline units that you feature are Ajax's Wall. Now these guys, like Ajax, are great stature. They're not full giants, but they're semi-giants, and they have a smaller unit size of 45. And what they do is they are just big shield units. They're mini Ajaxes, and they deal decent damage as well. And most impressively, they have battlefield healing, which means they will regenerate health on the battlefield when they're outside of combat. Now, of course, if you lost a member of the team, if you've gone down to 44, there will be no healing back to 45, but each individual unit, who all have greater health because of their great stature, higher health points, this is spread out among only 45 units, so each individual unit have a lot of health, and therefore if you can get out of a fight with your 45 still alive, they can heal back to full. So that's a very impressive unit in the game. And then you also have Salamis Marines. These are your more mobile attackers. These use his sword. And then you have Teucer's Bowman. Teucer is your half-brother, and he is a renowned archer who is also in the game. You can recruit him as a hero for your armies, and these archers are kind of modeled after him, and these would also have Expert Accuracy. These are your top-of-the-line archer units with much more damage than the slingers, but a little bit less range. But this is still an excellent choice for your army. You can see the size is still 45 here, whereas if we look at the slinger units, 68. Now none of these are the same. You have 45 here, so it's kind of hard to get a gauge. But I think we are playing on large unit size, so you could switch things up with your graphic settings. Now, as for Ajax himself, for those of you who have no idea, he is called Ajax the Great, or he eventually will become Ajax the Great. Part of this reason is because there's another hero during the Iliad who's also called Ajax, and he ended up being called Ajax the Lesser. Poor guy, I know. But for our character here, he's the son of the legendary King Telamon, who was one of the fiercest and most cunning warriors of the Trojan War, second only to Achilles in martial prowess. And this is speaking of Ajax, not his father. And Homer depicts him as a Stuart defender who plays a key role in repelling the Troy's counterattack, and who was skilled enough to overpower Hector twice in single combat, despite Zeus intervening in the Trojan prince's favor. Ajax was often portrayed with his half-brother, the renowned archer Teucer, who he guarded with his formidable shield crafted from 7 layers of oxhide and 1 of bronze, allowing his sibling to pick off enemies from a distance for a devastating defensive advantage. So that's kind of the playstyle of his army, as well as the playstyle between him and his brother, and they have some interplay in terms of their motivation traits, especially his brother, since the faction leader doesn't have motivation, but the heroes that serve under him do, and we'll take a look at that in game as well. In terms of family bonuses, as the son of Telamon and Ibura, we have 12% movement at sea, which is useful because Salamis is an island off the coast of near Athens, and there's a bunch of island chains for us to conquer in the beginning of the game, and we also have to eventually sail over to Troy. And we also get 5% missile resistance for all units in the hero's army. So this means not only will our own archers never hit us, the enemy archers will have a hard time penetrating our defenses. Not only do we have big shields with good range block chance, we also would have extra resistance to enemy missiles as well. So in terms of victory condition, it's very similar to the base game. There is going to be a total war victory where you have to defeat your antagonist faction, claim the 3 major cities on the map, although there's a 4th one now with Thebes, but it's not changed in the mission here. And here we have to occupy, raise, and sack 100 different settlements. And for the homework victory, we have to do 12 missions. This is the usual victory path that I go for. That's more story driven. And we also have to make sure that Hector Troy, Paris of Troy, and Troy itself will be destroyed or confederated by the end of the game. There's a weird thing here where we have to reach rank 27, which is max rank with Ajax. We have to have 100 renown, but we also have to reach rank 27 with 1 character, which is kind of redundant because if we already reached it with Ajax, I would think we have reached it with 1 character. I guess these are not mutually exclusive because we can technically reach it with another character but not Ajax and not win. But once we get Ajax, this will be satisfied as well. So it's a little bit weird here. But regardless, we're going to jump into game. Be mindful that this is a very early pre-release build and there's going to be a lot of things patched up and changed before launch. So if there's anything that goes wrong, just let's work through that. Anyways, let's rise to greatness here and jumpstart the campaign.
Mighty Ajax, it is time to take your place at the forefront of the Achaean host.
Brother, your foolish passion has doomed us.
The island of Salamis breeds proud and prudent fighters, independent in spirit, yet willing to ally with Agamemnon and aid the Achaean cause.
None can stand against the bulwark of the Achaeans.
You have recently taken the settlement of Megara, but beware the men of powerful Athens who would curb your ambitions in the region. Whilst your attention was elsewhere, the pirates of Achis launched a raid and captured the Isle of Aegina. Now their ships menace Salamis itself. Retake Aegina and run these sea wolves down. Even with such challenges at your door, you will not abandon an ally in need. King Menelaus of Sparta has been wronged and must have his vengeance.
Paris of Troy must pay!
It is your destiny, Ajax the Great, to shield your allies with undaunted fervor and defeat all who march against you.
Alrighty, so how do we play? We already talked about these 2 mechanics, but simply put, we'll look at the mechanics screens themselves instead of reading these. And our first mission is to do battle with this army of Achis who has launched the invasion against our island of Salamis. And we get some food and bronze is much needed here. As you see, we have no production bronze, but we do have a unit that needs bronze at the beginning. One of our key units, one of our Ajax's companions. And this army here is rather weak.
I cannot do that.
From what I see, there's not even a general. We'll, mop the ground with them quite easily with what we start out with. Now, most importantly, we're here to preview the faction, not really to play the game. So we'll be spending most of our time looking at what's new in the game. So starting with our path to greatness, this screen here showcases a list of challengers, and you can issue the challenge at a cost. And the requirement is usually resources in combination of your current renown level. If you're not well known enough, some of these challengers will not answer to you. And you can see the challengers are always located at certain cities on the map. So for example, if we exit this real quick, Aegina here has this symbol on the settlement, and this means a paragon resides here, and we can challenge them and to raise our renown and to have them join your faction by allowing them to train one of your units to become a Paragon unit. So they will eventually just be a little lead commanding unit in the army, and that in that unit, and that unit will get extra stat boost compared to a regular unit. And here, this is the closest one to us. We need 3,500 food to challenge him. We don't need any renown to issue the challenge. And once we challenge him, we have to fight this guy with his army of 10 men. You can see what their army strength is like. You can see what level the general's at. And that kind of prepares you for the fight ahead. And these are scattered around the map. So you can see there's one more here. And this one also requires 0, has a level 9 general, but only 9 troops, and so forth. And if you want to just get a quick view of all the current challengers, this would be the best screen to do so. Some of these will have higher requirement for renown and a higher level of general, higher level of units, and you can take your pick of which ones you think is something you can handle at this point and which ones you might want to wait a while. This one has 19 units and it's level 15 with 25 requirement of renown. Now, even if you fight one of these to the point of near death, I think Catamus victory is the word here, since Pyrrhic victory is not a thing yet. And even if you win like that, when you exit the battle, the units are at full health. Whatever health you took them in, you'll come out at full health or at your previous health. You basically will not actually suffer any casualties for doing one of these challenges. This is just a mock battle between the two of you to prove a point. And once you beat them, you will get some renown points. And here is your total renown bar. You see this goes from 0 to 100. And the bonuses is diplomatic relationship improvement with the Danans, which is the Greek factions. And you also can get 6 points to deal evaluation for all diplomatic agreements except bartering faction-wide once you reach the top tier. Now it's 2, 4, 6 starting at 31 points of renown. This is quite nice. This is a direct increase to the deal evaluation points, which is, let's say we offer, we can do that real quick right now. So let's say Mycenaean with Agamemnon, let's say we do a deal.
I anticipate
If we
coming out of this well.
ask for resources, these are bartering deals, but military access and all these are diplomatic deals. And you can see the value. The 6 points will be applied directly on this, whereas the 25 relationship is just the list here, how friendly they are to you. So the 6 points is worth a lot more than the 25 you have, but they can work in conjunction with each other. So there's some diplomatic gameplay here with Ajax. And aside from that, we also have the second mechanic, Warrior of Renown. So here we see the same renown bar, and they will list the active effects. We will get periodic renown missions for us to do, and this happens when one of our allies is defeated in battle. This is what I mentioned of us being a big brother in the Danan factions. Basically, if any ally get defeated, it will be recorded here, and you can go out and revenge them. And once you avenge them, you will get more renown for it. So quite a neat thing, and this means you need to form some allies to receive these missions. So it does encourage diplomatic gameplay. You're not out here to destroy the world, you're here to have friends, you're here to defend those friends and become more famous among your friends. And once we become really famous, we can use that renown in these funeral games or host celebrations. I guess they're called celebrations. And what you can do is offer up auxiliary items that you have to give away. So this might sound a bit scary. You're thinking these auxiliary items are hard to earn. Well, they're not that hard to earn anymore. I'll talk about that very shortly. But you offer 3 for the prizes. You invite guests. Now these guests tend to be your neighbors or your allies. In this case, they are all nearby. They don't have to like you. Sometimes if you're at war with them, you can still invite them. And once you invite them, what will happen is you will receive from the faction resources. They will list out what they have, what you might receive after a celebration. But the whole point of the celebration is to gain diplomatic points so that you can ask factions to make peace with each other or become friends. That's kind of your role here. So you are playing the big brother of, the Danan factions. That's the 2 faction mechanic. But there's a lot of other new things to the faction. So if we click on Megara, which we recently captured according to the prologue dialogue, here is the Megaris province with Megara, Salamis, and Aegina. We definitely need to capture that so we can get the province bonus. We can issue a commandment, I believe that's what's called, or tenet. I forgot what it's called, but basically we can issue additional bonuses for the whole province. And what we can see is some of the new buildings. So let's pull up the entire construction browser, and we'll start with the special buildings. So some of these special buildings are obviously location based. In this case, they are faction based for the ones we see here. And what we have is Maker's Camp, Craftsman's Square, and Great Artisan Workshop. These are based on one of the new gods added in the game, Hephaestus. And when you build these special buildings, you can see that you will gain favor with Hephaestus, 70 points for the first one, 100 points for the second one, 150 for the third one. These cost stone, wood, and gold. Pretty expensive once you get to the gold, but here just wood in the first one, so quite cheap, and then wood and stone, a little bit of stone, and then a little bit of gold. It's not expensive, to be honest, because once you build one, you get 20% discount on all bronze construction costs in the province, and 20% stone construction costs in the province for level 1. And you get an auxiliary item upon construction. So you get a free auxiliary item, random, when you finish making this. And when you finish upgrading, you get another one. And the bonuses for the discount goes up to 40%. And then when you level up to level 3, you get a third auxiliary item. So you can build one of these in a province and you're set to host a celebration. You can swap out the ones you like and get rid of the ones you don't like, because not all the auxiliary items are useful and you can't spam that many heroes since there is still the supply line mechanic. So you will have an overflow of auxiliary items for you to use, and it's quite nice. So this is one of the unique buildings for Ajax. Works very well with his celebration mechanic, and as well as the favors with the new god Hephaestus, which we'll look at very soon in the god screen. Now, all these buildings, gods, units will have separate preview videos that go slightly more in depth. For this one, we'll just try to cover everything new. If you just want to get a good preview of the new faction mechanics, this will be the video to watch. If you want to dive a little deeper, check out the videos that will come in the following days, where we'll talk about the new units, the new gods, and much more detail. We also have Ajax's Retinue as a special building. This is a rank 5 building. I think most factions have one of these where you have decreased upkeep costs for some of your special units. In this case, it will be the heavy infantry and the giant units. And you also get 5% melee defense for all your heavy infantry units faction-wide. So these are good stacking buildings if you have a bunch of provinces in the late game, which they have reached level 5 in terms of settlement level. You need a lot of growth for this. Once you reach that point, maybe spam a few of these, you get a lot of bonuses, defense for your frontline units, and then missile damage for your Locaean Slingers, Veteran Locaean Slingers, and Teucer's Bowmen. Those are your 3 special faction range units, and they're all quite strong. And then we also have Proving Ground, Pits of Strength, and Arena of Mighty. These tend to unlock units for you, as you can see. Ajax Companion, these are the semi-giant units, the great stature defensive units who are also siege attackers like the giants, and they all heal. We talk about the battlefield healed. They also have the ability of Reckless Charge, where they sacrifice some of their melee defense, which is evasion rate, to get charge bonus and speed. I think it's quite worth it, especially considering that fact they can heal up afterward. They all have, this one have flanking attack improved. They don't all have this, but this one has flanking attack improved. It's the lighter version, I guess. And the heavier version, the Ajax's Wall, don't have the flanking attack, but both of them will have expert charge defense, as in when braced, they can negate the enemy charge bonus, which is quite strong because it's the age of infantry charging each other. And in addition, they are also all siege attacker. They retain battlefield healing, retain reckless charge, very powerful units. And you can unlock them with this chain, and not only can you unlock them, you get plus starting rank to them, you get extra experience for them when the army's in the territory. They give 20% recruitment cost discount for all units in the territory, and you also get 5% extra charge bonus of the heavy infantry. So basically you're boosting what's already super strong for your faction. You're making them cheaper, you're giving them higher rank. +6 means these will come at 7 rank at the very least, if not more, by having, you know, agent abilities or general abilities. And then you also make them cheaper to recruit, 20%. Then these are very similar structures. You might just want to notice where some of the unique units are. So you have the Salamis Marine, Salamis Spearmen, and Swordsman on your main barrack chain. And then you have your Slinger, Veteran Slinger. These all have the Expert Accuracy, which says they will never damage friendly units with its missiles. Very, very strong. And then in the bow, you have the Teucer Bowman as your elite unit here, also with Expert Accuracy. So only these 3 units have it. The earliest one you can get is the Slinger down here. It's quite nice, slightly lower damage. Once you upgrade them to the veteran version, the damage goes closer to what the Bowman can do, but the Bowman still will outperform them. I think the main advantage of this unit compared to this is just that maybe you're already down this building chain because you start out with this one. Overall, I think this is still probably the way to go. Oh, and these will be cheaper, less bronze. So I guess that's an advantage. You don't get any fancy cavalry. You do get chariots, just the basic 2 levels of chariots here. You get Island Spearmen. These are generic units that share among many factions. And there's nothing too much to talk about the buildings over here. They haven't really changed very much. Administration building did not change at all. Temples. I don't know if we need to talk about temples here that much. There are 2 new gods and goddesses that were added in since we last covered the game. I last covered the game when the Amazon DLC came out, but there was a photo mode update between that where Artemis got released. So we haven't played a game with Artemis in the game. And Artemis Temple, as you can see here, will spawn the priestess, same thing. And you get favor for Artemis. You get the Hecatomb bonus. But mainly you get accuracy for all units on recruitment in the province and extra ammo. And this will extend as you upgrade. So that's kind of the special thing for Artemis, being goddess of the hunt. So you have these increased accuracies and increased ammo count. Hephaestus is officially the new god being introduced in this DLC. It will be provided to all base game for free to be part of the patch. And what you get with Hephaestus here is you get cheaper building costs. So as you can see, if we play Ajax with Hephaestus focus on one of the special buildings that give discounts to stone and bronze, we can extend that farther with the altar to Hephaestus, which will give us 20% to all production buildings, which are the resource generating ones, and they will be cheaper by 20% in addition to whatever discount you're giving on the other special building. And not only that, units in this province can be equipped to receive +5 to armor and melee attack. So this is kind of the upgrade from the temple itself, because Hephaestus is the blacksmith of the gods. All your equipment of all units being recruited here will improve. So in this case, any unit we recruit here will get +5 to armor and melee attack, and then you also have this is the equipped as well as the recruitment. So let me explain this. The recruitment one means if you recruit a new unit, they will come out with +5 armor to melee attack. If you recruit a unit somewhere else, but you move them into a province with this temple, you can then equip them with the same upgrade. So it's not a once and done type of thing. If you have units that didn't have the bonus, but you have the altar here, I think you just need to pay a cost. I'm not sure about the exact mechanic, but you can still get the same exact bonus on those units as long as you have the altar to Hephaestus. And then that obviously improves as you rank up all the way to 15 points, which is pretty massive, and then 40% discount to all construction costs of production buildings in the province. And speaking of these gods and goddesses, we can look at Divine Will for a second here. The structure is the same. We just have 2 new additions, which we will talk about really quickly here. If you guys want a deeper rundown, there will be a separate video. So Artemis here, spy, ammo to archers, some campaign movement, upgrade eventually, mainly archer focus. There is a new special unit the Orions that are archer unit that you can recruit at the very end here. You get some speed to missile units, and you get Aristea gained by heroes for all your own armies. Pretty straightforward, and if you worship her, you get some similar increases at ambush chance. You gain a new ability for Strider attribute that ignores penalty from forest terrain. Not that important in my opinion. It's basically an ambush and forest playstyle, and you can also recruit warriors of Artemis from forest settlements, so wood generating settlements, and that's kind of the bonus you can get from that. Hephaestus, this is the new one. This is the one I'm going to focus on for Ajax in particular here because it synergizes quite well. So if we have the first tier, all production buildings 30% discount. So that's going to be in combination of the level 1 Hephaestus altar, which is 20%, so that's 50% already. If you get it to level 3 in terms of temple, that's 40%. So with this, 70% discount to the construction cost of all production buildings faction wide. Now the temple has to be everywhere for that to be 70% faction wide, but this is faction wide, and if you have a temple, then it's 70%. If you have your special building, then it's 90% for bronze and stone. So pretty strong. You also get increased gold production income per turn faction wide. This is great because you do deplete your gold mines faster, but even if you deplete it all the way, there is still the base generation of 10 gold per turn, I believe, and this would also increase that, so that's nice. Bronze will never run out, and you get 25% extra bronze, which is amazing. And then you're increasing the speed of chariot units, defensive chariot unit. That doesn't really apply for Ajax here, but it's probably great if you're playing some other faction, like if you're going to end up playing Sarpedon, who specializes in chariots, then this is a great bonus for him. And then at the end, Fire Touch. 30% to armor piercing damage for all the melee units, faction wide. That's a pretty big boost if you think about how much melee units are in the game. And then you get 20 points of armor to all your heroes, and you get a Divine Craftsman agent. And this agent can upgrade the equipment of your armies to a much higher level than even the temple. I think it's the 20-point upgrade, which is not available for the temple. And the agent, obviously, like all the epic agents, will only last for a few turns, I believe. It wouldn't be forever, but any units you recruit with that agent in the army will get bonuses. I think you can also send the agent to enemy armies and debuff their equipment and give them a huge debuff of stats, but that will be a one-time use. But regardless, pretty amazing bonus at the end there. The middle one here would not really apply very much to Ajax, but everything else would be pretty amazing. And if you pray to him, you get extra morale for shielded units, which will only increase, and also extra missile resistance to shielded units. So these two also complement Ajax playstyle quite nicely. Max out at 25% morale for shielded units for faction-wide every army, and 12% missile resistant to faction-wide for the whole army as well. So this is the two new gods, or goddesses and god, that's added in the game since we last covered it. So I think that's it for everything new with Ajax. I think the only thing that we haven't really looked at is Ajax himself. So Ajax have some interesting bonuses, mainly on his items. All these are pretty generic, except for these effects are all, from traits and items. So we're not going to talk about this part. In terms of his traits, we talked about his lineage. He's a epic hero. So you get 3 points of influence, 15 points of morale, and then 20% to your rage generation in battle. He will not die because he's a Homeric champion. He will get wounded and you will have him back very soon. He has a unique skill tree. We'll talk about this in a separate video where we go depth about this. There will be a skill tree guide for both of the new generals. Starts out with Herculean Throw, which I think right now is slightly bugged. We'll see in the battle in this build. But it should work. This is an old ability. This was in the game before. You basically chuck a rock at an enemy. Mini trebuchet. You do some damage. 45 seconds cooldown. And then equipment. You start out with your unique Ajax Tower Shield. Gives you yourself 10 points of melee defense, which is dodge rate. And then 5 points of melee defense for all units in your army. Quite nice. You start out with 2 auxiliary items, which is pretty nice for, you know, most starting faction. You just start out with maybe something unique and that's it. Both of these are common. One gives your naval campaign move range another 8%, so you're now at 20% in the water. And then you also get this defensive boost that adds it's just a cloak. You get a motivation and extra influence to your province. Now influence, once again, is the resource generating judgment of, you know, the population in the local area. Once you're above 60%, or yeah, 60% here, you're considered high influence, and you can get additional resources from your production buildings. So that's that. We're ready to go. Ready to fight the army.
I never fought.
We will. Hold on. One last thing to showcase. Your half-brother, Teucer. He is a recruitable general. He will be a trickster archer. He has a unique personality here. Usually it's just like, you know, compassionate or like hates Troy or hates Danon, you know, that type of general personality. But here we have a unique one. Half-brother of Ajax. And what we have here for his motivation is that he gets +2 motivation after winning a battle together with Ajax, so as a reinforcement army, because this game does not allow you to have 2 generals in the same army, so you kind of have to move them together. Or/end, you get 3 points of motivation after hosting a celebration. So that's the faction renown effect. So every time you host a celebration, he gets +3. So it's pretty easy to keep his motivation up high, especially if you play him together with Ajax. He doesn't like it if the province has a negative populace. So if the public order is negative, he doesn't like that one. And -1 if Ajax or him ever loses a battle. So I assume if you're fighting together and both of you lose a battle, maybe you lose 2 points there. But hopefully your faction leader and his half-brother is not going to lose any battles. We will not be recruiting him because of the, you know, supply line mechanic here. So he probably will not be in our showcase here. But he should definitely be the first general you're looking for. He's our archer, so I'm assuming the skill tree is a standard trickster skill tree, which means a lot of boost for some of the archer units. And maybe he can have the archer units while you build out your character to be more defensive. We don't have any fancy units except for our Ajax companion, which is also our expensive unit in terms of bronze cost. But we're going to be using them in this battle here.
Engage the foe.
And we're absolutely advantaged, but we're still going to be fighting this to showcase it. Oh, he did have a general just at the end of the line where we couldn't see him. It's okay. We can definitely handle him. He has he has less health and stuff. He's a fighter. That's fine. Let's go. Alrighty, so we're here. Weather's good. We can get started. And let's see, they have 2 slingers, some infantry, the general himself. We're gonna test out if the rock thing works. And we have 2 javelin units, okay, and then mainly just some frontline units. So let's use the frontline units as frontline units. I think spearmen can also kind of be on the front. We have probably only 1 flanking unit here. The javelin can flank. And Island Club Warrior can also flank for us as well. Maybe start out in the trees here. The range is what, 100? Okay. Well, they're not moving towards us. We're just gonna move towards them. We're gonna have to go all the way here first and then loop around because we can't come down unless they come and meet us. Not in range, my friend, not in range.
Making it so.
Yeah, these are our companions, much bigger than these guys, but not full giants yet.
Ajax.
Look at those back muscles.
Feel my might. I will.
I don't think we're in range
It will
because
be.
his range is. Wait, his range is. Can't select him. 160, right? And our range is only 100. No? Yeah, maybe it is still bugged out. Maybe we have to be there. Okay, they're in a good place.
Unbreakable! Right away! Ares!
Oh, there we go. Oh. Did we just miss?
Ajax!
We have 30 seconds to find out.
Warriors of Salus! Well and good.
We're really careful. We can probably sneak down. Oh, they're starting to move. Oh, we're in range.
To the foe!
Spears! Forward we go!
Foes beware! Onward, warriors! Feel my might!
Try this again. Oh, we killed one.
Your hero is under attack.
Let's
go.
Now they die! In good order! Move up! Sons of Achaea! In good
Keep moving
order.
up. Move to the flank. Oh, they have a hidden unit. Alright, fight that one.
March up! Onward, warriors! Don't hold back! Move up! Go at them!
The foe has sighted your hidden units.
Awaiting orders! Wreak havoc! Hungry for glory!
We can fire here, actually. Just our hero.
Ajax!
Awaiting orders! You don't have what it takes.
I am unimpressed by your prattling.
Awaiting orders!
Eviscerate down!
Advance, men!
Get the full surround.
Attack!
They're breaking.
Mercy!
Finish them.
Wreak havoc!
Ready for it!
The men are fleeing back!
Strike hard! Bring their doom!
Trained and ready!
Victory is close enough to taste.
Charge.
Sons of Achaea! Advance, men!
Steadfast warriors!
Let's see!
The broken symbol is not working.
Yeah,
I can't see they're broken.
This too much! Spineless
Well,
coward!
it is a pre-release build. But anyways, they're breaking. Except for this one guy right here. I guess we'll just use the morale bar as a gauge. Here, you shoot them.
Blood! Spears!
At your command!
They bounce back. Go get them.
Foes beware! I'll not falter!
Sons of Achaea!
Destroy! Ready to serve!
Alright, they should be routing. They bounce back. Alright, shattered. Yeah, the icons are not updating. It's a little weird, but we did it. Aw, I was hoping for some execution animation there. We'll just be taking some resources.
Courage pays off.
And we get a bit more resource. And we get a mission. Muster the troops. Have 12 units. And we found the heavy helmet after that battle.
Ajax.
And we got a level up as well. The helmet is an actual defensive thing. Right, so we're not going to equip that. See? Extra auxiliary items already. Let's see. Shout or immovable force. Affected unit gains bonus armor but has reduced speed. Increase flanking defense on self and allies within a range. I'm going to take the armor route. I can try to position myself to avoid flanking. Right, we're going to be recruiting units to finish the mission and so that we can move on. So Warriors of Artemis, this is what we talked about with the Artemis. If we're in a forested area, since we are, and if we have the prayer, we can get a couple of these. In this case, I think early game, we're just going to spam some range units. They're cheap.
I will.
We can do 3 a turn, do 2 more next turn. And in terms of building here, we definitely want slightly more production, but maybe we want to get this first. Right, we're out of wood already. But we'll get more wood. That's the good thing here. We also start out with the wood and the gold royal decree, which I feel like is a very strong combo. We're going to get the food as well. Bronze is going to take down, but we're going to get bronze eventually. We'll fight this one. And then I think the next expansion target will continue to fight the Achilles. We can grab this. And I probably will declare war eventually against Athens to get some gold as well. So that's kind of the gameplay plan ahead. Which we probably won't get to showcase in this preview, as this is just a preview. I could also spam this. But at this point I kind of want growth, just to upgrade some of the settlements. So, no, not building that. Let's just enter. Diplomacy. Non-aggression pact with Sparta, I'm down for that.
With Ajax by my side, my cause will be well served.
Can we get some... I need food. Okay, so but he's willing to part with food. So we'll just do that.
No hesitation.
Okay. Guess that's the only deal we can do, and it's next turn time. Alright, next mission, issue a royal decree. Working on it. Zoom back in. His army has left the island. It's coming towards us. We still need 2 more units at least for the mission. We'll get 1 more frontline units. And we're gonna build this. And that's it. That's all we can really do here. Let's continue. Alright, we have finished mustering our troops. We'll get some more resources, bronze to sustain us a little bit, and we have also leveled up our level with Hephaestus because the building we built. And we want to build any building. That one should be finished right away. We pick up accessory for building that special building. Remember, we get accessory every time we finish. So recruitment cost is 10% less, which we had that earlier. But we can't really wait. Ray Salamian's girdle. Very on theme with the location. So we can spend a bit more wood and stone to level it up again for more discount in buildings in the future, and also it's quite nice. Our influence is growing because Ajax is here. Ajax gives quite a big bonus here. They are marching towards Megara.
That is not
I
possible.
don't know if they can actually take it.
Epic warrior.
I'm more interested in attacking this.
Advance the ship. Into the
Alright,
fray.
next turn it is. If they attack us, that's fine. What is our garrison size here? Yeah, we match them. I think it'll be okay. On resolve, we know construction's fine. Alright, we finished constructing. He's just looting. That's fine. Upgrade any buildings, which we're doing right away as well. Getting raided.
A giant.
We're here to
among men.
complete our province. This one we'll just delegate. The sieges are quite a pain, and we have such good advantage here, we might as well take it.
Go at them.
Oh, we're using our giant spear like a sword, and we chopped his head off. Nice. And we'll just be occupying it.
Occupy it.
And this allows us to complete this entire province, which means we should be able to issue a commandment here. And the early one that we really want is play organized game, just for extra growth. And happiness always helps since we're playing on harder difficulties. Let's see, we have enough growth to upgrade this population, that is. I think we take it. 2 harbor, quite nice for growth. And we'll try to get some more food. Ooh, they have the fancy one. Oh no, the basic one. The fancy one's over here. Right, and we'll
Truest
head
friend,
back soon. We can
deadliest
also use
enemy.
this turn to recruit some more units, I think.
This is easily done.
Grab these. We can also do the challenge once we get enough food. I guess we have enough food next turn. Maybe we'll showcase the challenge as the last thing we do here. Construction available. We don't have a lot of bronze to spend on these. Yeah, we're gonna pass on that. Let's continue. Alright, next mission, go to max strength. We're not there yet, but time to do a challenge. And challenging a paragon requires a tribute of resources. Do you want to proceed? Yes, a bunch of our food.
Fight me. if
And
you
we have a
dare.
new paragon challenger. Their army spawns right outside.
That's
And
beyond.
we go fight them.
We fight for honor today.
And we could just delegate this, but let's fight one because the casualty doesn't really matter. We also get help from the settlement. That's very neat. And if they're all next to settlements, maybe this will be kind of the thing. You know, you always get some help from the settlement. That's nice. Alright, the weather is beautiful. Let's start deployment. So they have 2 slingers, 1 chariot, some units probably hiding here. Spearmen, 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 young spears, okay, charging units. Alright, I don't know if they actually attack us or not because we are technically attacking them. I'm gonna move everything to this side. I like that little bit there. I doubt they will charge at us though.
Spears. Ajax.
Ready to serve!
Foes beware.
Are they gonna move? Oh, they will.
The gods smile. Reinforcements are here.
Okay, we need to find a flanking position for them. Flanking position for them.
Hungry for glory! Onward,
It could just be repositioning to a better defensive position, not necessarily mean they will just commit to the charge.
I concur.
I could be wrong as well. Maybe Paragon battles are programmed differently.
Move on out.
Actually, I want him in the middle. Get hit first. Oh, we have an archer general. That would be very helpful. What did you bring with you? Range.
forward we go!
Spears. Advancement.
don't think we're in range. Oh, we are in range. I canceled it.
One of your units has no more ammunition.
I'm gonna boost their armor. Yeah, chase both of them away.
On the move. Don't hold back.
He's firing, right? Yeah, he's firing. If he has a target. I don't see him actually firing.
Your warriors are losing heart.
He's not doing anything. They're getting chased. Here, help with the chariot. They're wavering. Wait, come help, come help.
Your warriors have been routed.
Oh, Ajax, no.
Sons of Achaia!
Get him.
Destroy! No mercy!
Slingers ready! Don't hold back!
By Ares, your warriors are rallying.
Good. Ajax rallied. And he's broken.
Lethal at range!
Go at them! Hungry for glory! Go at them!
Victory is close enough to taste.
These guys are very sturdy. They've been on the front line since the beginning, getting charged by chariots. 33. And right now there's friendly fire. Imagine with us with no friendly fire. They bounce back.
Unbreakable!
Your warriors are rallying.
You gotta work on your aim, my friend.
Strength and courage! Attack!
They broke, which means we can actually fire at them now.
Show no fear! Be their deaths!
This is the last unit, I think. Alright, I think we won. Yep. So as you can see, it's a different type of fight. It's a mock battle. Different art. And once we fight, none of the units are lost.
It feels good to improve.
We gained experience. We have beaten one of the Paragons. We gained some renown. and now we can use him to recruit a special unit under a special recruitment panel.
Ajax the Great.
So he can train one of these units for us. They're basically... What are they replacing for us? Sword? They're not holding a sword, are we? Beautiful arrow fists. Well, basically this is our Paragon unit now. And we can recruit him if we want. Obviously we'll have to spend resources. Larger unit size. Light class, good defense. Has a lot of abilities. Strong vigor. Missile resistance, that's from the faction-wide bonus. Heals of armies, extra speed. So they're just a larger unit, light unit with good defense, and they're fast. They can throw javelins, I'm assuming. Missile damage, 95 range, only 2 ammo, so probably javelins. They have bonus against large, bonus against swordsmen, bonus against axemen.
Toast this victory.
Cool. Alright, so that's how you get Paragon units with Ajax, and that's kind of how the mechanics of the faction works. We took no damage in that fight, and now we're ready to, you know, continue our expansion effort. That army has retreated. We're gonna go grab his island now and move things from there. But this is the end of our preview. We'll be putting up a poll for Ajax and Diomedes to see which one we actually play first in a full Let's Play. We'll be showcasing Diomedes later today, so stay tuned for that video, and see you guys then. Bye!